The sun rises today as it has a million times before. Even at this time, the frenzy of daily activities begins to build towards another typical day in the rat race of life for most Nigerians. Abimbola Ayeni is one of those Nigerians and business owners navigating the hurdles in a turbulent economic landscape. Her business explores market opportunities in natural and healthy foods, ranging from day-to-day consumables like gari to other derivatives from the coconut value chain. She's also into agro-food processing, export of quality spices, oils, and flowers globally.
Last year, a client of mine that is in the US asked for a sample of my coconut flakes. And he did send my coconut flakes to different stores in the US. And he sent me a message, Bimcaf, be ready. Walmart is interested in your coconut flakes. Do you have the capacity? Those were his words. And I told him, sir, whatever it will take, trust me, I don't know how to give up on things. At the point when he ordered for this product, it was less than $1 we supplied him. Just few cents less than $1.
For most businesses in the country, inflation is the big elephant in the room. Having to grapple with rising cost of production while struggling to achieve profit margins is a formidable challenge.
When the exchange rate was high, it was of great advantage to me as a company. But locally, what am I experiencing in Nigeria? It increased my production cost. My raw material increased. My diesel was 1,550 per litre to 1,700 per litre.
An enterprise like Abimbola's embodies the struggle of entrepreneurs and businesses striving to realize their dreams in an uncertain operating environment. Incidentally, these challenges are not exclusive to small businesses as they cut across board. Even for the big players, the capacity to maintain optimal operations and profitability in the short and long run are more susceptible in a challenging economic environment.
You cannot have a factory without energy, without power. Now, whatever you're producing, if there's additional cost on it, it will go to the market. Because if I'm paying more on energy, it means I'll put more on my goods. And then the normal people on the street cannot buy.
So manufacturers have had to do some structural adjustment in terms of minimizing costs, optimizing returns in terms of improving the value chain and race to market. We've also seen attempts to cut costs and improve on the use of technology to be able to cut down waste. So in this type of times, you have to be cautious. So expansion is completely out of it, but you need to survive, so to say, and look forward to when the environment will be more conducive for you to be able to expand and take advantage of whatever ameliorating measures that have been put in place by government.
And as long as these challenges subsist, boosting national capacity for massive production and industrialization are likely to remain elusive.
You look at the high cost of energy. Are we now forced to also look the other way around? I mean, at one time in Europe, you also had this very high cost of energy. And at one time, because they looked inwards, and looking inwards, the things they used in solving their energy needs are the things we have for free. I mean, you step out in the sun, you can actually fry an egg. That's free energy, from God. Ditto for the thermal, wave energies from our coastal areas. We have over 600, 800 kilometers of coastal lines, seashore lines that we can actually generate so much, free and cheap energy from. Now, are we getting to that point where we now need to begin to now think things through? Are we getting to that point where we need to think, talk, eat, live, use, depend on our capacities, and capabilities to be able to solve our problems?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office with a clear mandate to drive the transformation of Africa's largest economy, ushering in a new era of renewed hope with promises of policies to tackle inflation, support small businesses, and stimulate growth. The President's blueprint for the economy is considered quite expansive in ideas and ideals.
We shall honor our campaign commitment of 1 million jobs and the digital economy.
But globally, artisans have certificates and licenses to even work and operate in a particular trade area. And so when we discovered that was a problem, we said, okay, we are going to institute and retrofit the industrial training from the ITF, which is their mandate to train vocational skills with the intention to give them a world-class certificate. And then now we've gotten City of Guild with the City of Guild trade area and curriculum to train them. We started out, made the announcement, over 500,000 people applied, or 500,000 people. We went around the whole country, did the accreditation, and now we're starting with 100,000 people across the country. Training takes between 3 to 6 months. So in about 6 months, we'll have the first set of trainees coming out who will have the City and Guild certificate in the trade area that they were trained on. With that certificate, they can work anywhere. With that certificate, they can work in any company here for themselves as entrepreneurs, or abroad where they can go and get any job in any company, because that certificate is globally recognized. Now that's one thing on SUPRA. On NATEP, we also identified that a lot of countries also have vacancies, and we can fill them from here. We have people who can fill the jobs. We have vacancies in construction, in different things, even nanny, driver, healthcare, pharmacy, name it, across different places. A lot of them came to us that they love Nigerian talent. We're the best, we're the most brilliant, intelligent, entrepreneurial. We know what to do when they give us a task to do. I say, fantastic. How do we ensure that we protect the citizens, that when they go abroad to work, that they have their papers, they have the right, the dignifying job, you give them, and they can go and work and preserve the image and integrity and reputation of the country. So that's why we started the National Talent Expo program.
We have identified 12 skills in high demand locally and globally. And based on that, the ministry designed 3 million tech talent initiative to train 3 million Nigerians on those 12 IT skills in high demands, so that they can be working within the country to fill the gaps, or to be part of the global value chain, to work remotely. So we have started implementing the initiative. We've started by 1% to do the pilot. So we have trained 30,000 Nigerians across these 12 areas. And now we have started the second phase of training 10%, that is 600,000 Nigerians on that 12 skills.
CNG is about 30% cost in relation to PMS. So it's going to drag down the cost of goods and services. It's going to drag down the transport fare. And this will have direct impact on majority, not even majority, all Nigerians, because one way or the other we move. This is going to affect the transportation positively, it's going to affect the economy positively, and it's going to lead to creation of jobs.
We have 46 registered patents. We have products and equipment and machinery developed around those patents. We're at a stage where those patents are going to be commercialized. We are hoping to create a lot of startups around those R&D works. Beyond that, we've carried out a lot of intervention in different spaces. In the past, the council started off in the area of fertilizer. We were able to build a fertilizer blending plant, and we showed proof of concept that ordinary people, state governments can go into fertilizer blending. And as we speak, we have about 28 state governments in Nigeria that have fertilizer blending plant from that work. The breweries, we are having issues with multi-material that we are importing from outside. with the work that was carried out in the Raw Material Research and Development Council, we are able to make them look inwards and started producing malt from our locally available cereals, things like corn and sorghum. And since then, the breweries have never looked back.
Foremost among the new approaches being adopted is the acknowledgement of the relevance of micro, small and medium businesses to the economic development of Nigeria.
We're looking at new product types that we can introduce into the Nigerian market that can help with the development of these enterprises. And then, we have, in addition to the strategic partnerships, we're also looking at new programs, including programs that can help develop enterprises that are based in various locations, particularly in rural areas, through a project called Rapid.
And DBN, since inception, has been able to disburse about 787 billion through participating financial institutions. And these are made up of deposit money banks, microfinance bank, mortgage banks, and other financial institutions who partner with DBN to provide access to credit for micro, small, and medium enterprises. In the last 1 year, we've done about 290 billion in terms of providing access to finance. So far, about 72% of our funding has gone to women-owned businesses, and a lot of them in the micro sector. About 24% of our funding has gone to youth-owned businesses. So these are things we keep our eyes on. Since inception, we've created about 1.2 million jobs. The last 1 year alone, I think we've added over 202,000 jobs in terms of job creation.
The rationale behind this is clear. Not only are MSMEs capable of substantial employment generation, they're drivers of direct creation of wealth, thus reducing mass poverty by contributing to Nigeria's gross national product, or the GDP. This explains President Tinubu's approval of a 125 billion naira plan for MSMEs to ease economic pains by engendering the growth of businesses.
I believe we have done well over the last 1 year in all the areas. Our policy as captured in the 3 budgets, the first supplementary budget that we inherited of 819 billion, which was renegotiated by President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to provide 500 billion for interventions to support those who are vulnerable and otherwise affected by reforms, and even 100 billion out of that to accelerate the transition to compressed natural gas, and so as to lower energy cost, particularly for those at the lower end of the income strata, which among others seek to reduce reliance on deficit, so that domestic and international investors will see that the government is taking measures to reduce dependency on increased borrowing.
Now, you will need to service those debts to remain creditworthy. Okay, so that you can be able to probably know how to, manage the debt or reschedule or something. Now, the availability of these funds also helps. Then you talk about infrastructure. Okay, you see a lot of roads, being constructed now, but because they are very numerous, you're not able to see all of them being completed at the same time. But there's no way you can say that government is also not doing things, in that area. And so many other areas, the agricultural area, the mining sector, and everything.
A larger percentage of our recommendations require that we amend about 15 different legislation. And so that's one that's taking a bit longer than we would have loved to see. So we are now at the final stages of being able to get the approval of the Federal Executive Council and then present the bill to the National Assembly. We hope that by the end of June at the latest, we should be at the point where we can roll out these other additional, measures, legislation. Some of them will be executive orders, some of them will be regulations. And by the end of Q3 of 2024, the whole process of enacting those bills into law, signing the orders, and coming into implementation should begin towards the end of the fourth quarter. Our aspiration is that by 2025 at the latest, the ordinary person on the street should begin to feel the positive impact in a remarkable way.
The current challenge where about turning the corner, our revenue is improved, and you can see reflected in the subnational.
There's the 50 billion grant program to nano enterprises. There's a 75 billion MSME loans that has a single obligor limit of about ₦1 million. And then there's the 75 billion large manufacturers loan with a single obligor limit of about ₦1 billion. So all the three components are being prepped for disbursement. We've gone very far with the grant program. We've disbursed to at least 200,000 beneficiaries across the country. We know we are targeting at least 1,000 beneficiaries within each local government of the federation. We've gone quite far.
Businesses are already benefiting from some of government's revised policies. Obinna Shedrack is a beneficiary of a government-established facility where all he needs is to buy his raw materials and process from start to finish under the same roof before pushing the finished products out to the market.
Sometimes you go looking for fuel and other means of, doing this, making this work to come out. But when we heard about here, Smidan, there's constant lights, there is, all the facilities we need, like machines, different kinds of machines. I came and I discovered that it's true. And since then, I've been enjoying it, and I've not even gone back to my shop.
It has brought tremendous impact in our profession as tailors, as designers, and whatever, because the machines are too expensive. They are too cost for our members. And here are hubs that were being created by Smeden for our members to benefit freely.
And so far, so good. Some of them have been trying to deliver promptly. And that is actually the aim, to support the fashion entrepreneurs.
It's a very nice place for a youth like me to come and improve my knowledge more.
Not many like Obinna Shedrack are able to have the burden of high cost of electricity and cost of machinery, among other factors that pose a formidable challenge to their daily operations, taken off them. And while tales of such support are being told, they look forward to being beneficiaries as they hope the sun shines through their daily struggle.
And this will also metamorphose into 7 key areas that we want to focus on, priority areas that we want to focus on as well. So, Grow Nigerian, for the 7 sectors, will now metamorphose to Eat Nigerian for all of our companies in the agri-food chain. So from farm to table. So in terms of livestock production, crop production, horticulture, all of that, right? We'll focus on all these sectors and give them the right guidance, get right resources, right opportunity, and right workforce support to grow. What I'm wearing today is Nigerian, so we're Nigerian. So all these sectors in hides and skin, leather, garments and apparel, we're also going to focus on them to make sure that they can grow and expand.
Interest rates need to come down.
Remember that even this method of contraction is a period, is a short-term thing, because eventually we also get to an expansionary mode. But we definitely give the financial institutions concessionary rates so they can pass on those savings to Nigerians. So there are issues with loan sharks and the apps and all those things that charge exorbitant, neck-breaking, predatory interest rates. We'll be curbing that, of course, because we are going to make sure that by giving concessionary rates to the institutions, they can also pass those on to Nigerians, and you will see the results when the civil servants program starts.
We believe our strategy is right in terms of our direction of travel. We have been consistent. the central bank responded by also taking measures to reform the macro economy.
While year-on-year headline inflation in April 2024 rose moderately, the month-on-month measures of headline, food, and core all declined significantly. This follows a decline month-on-month of headline and food measures in March 2024, suggesting that the recent tight monetary policy stance of the bank is beginning to yield the desired outcomes. The MPC, however, noted that the inflationary pressure continues to be driven largely by food inflation. Several challenges confronting the effective moderation of food inflation to include rising costs of transportation of farm produce, infrastructure-related constraints along the line of distribution network, security challenges in some food-producing areas, and exchange rate pass-through to domestic prices for imported food items.
Now we have an executive order on inflation reduction, and that's taking very practical steps on what can bring down food inflation significantly, some of these within just 30 days. So we are hopeful that once we're able to diligently implement those recommendations, inflation should come down.
In the march towards the attainment of a $1 trillion economy in the next 10 years, the current administration is hinging the success of a substantial part of its economic reforms on reducing Nigeria's dependency on oil revenue, growing and exploiting opportunities in the non-oil sectors, are largely encouraging activities that promote sustainable economic growth.
When the president came in, he made it very clear that he's going to stop the export of raw materials and promote the export of manufactured goods. When you add value to a product, you earn at least 4 times more than exporting the raw commodity. In terms of exports, the volume of exports probably even grew. But because the value of export was low, because we're exporting raw materials, we're not getting that much value. But for the same volume, if we were exported, it will get 3, 4, 5 times, even much more, depending on what you're exporting in terms of value. So you might export small and get more value. And so it looks as if your export is much bigger, because you're looking always, you quantify export in terms of the dollar value of that export.
We are determined and we are in a mode of increasing the resources available to government, increasing the self-generated revenue. And we are committed to domestic resource mobilization in foreign currency, through exports, and of course in Naira, through generating more government revenue.
In the tapestry of Nigeria's economy, woven with threads of struggle and triumph, the resilience of its small business owners shines brightest, a testament to the indomitable spirit of BIMCAF, Obinna, and their likes that propel progress forward. All thanks to the President's economic reform and support. As Nigeria looks to the future, one thing is clear. President Tinubu is committed to nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit that will drive the nation's prosperity.